one time, you will not go home. They play around and spray the ground, now more the minds will be blown. Sick and tired of y'all feeding lies, now daily fire gon' go. See me now, I'ma go blow. Go 2 times to your dome. I'm the type of guy that call it like I see it, y'all.
There you go.
All right. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 in the place to be. This is Adam Miller, the guy I said. Podcast, my right and left from me is.
That cuz the governor.
Juan Bizzle, you already know what's up.
Juan, we can't. Okay, there you go. I couldn't see you first. We got 3 topics. We probably, stay short and precise as possible. Hopefully, we talk about the New York City stranglehold.
Yeah.
33-year-old Jordan Neely lost his life. The guy Daniel Penny,
Yeah.
24-year-old Marine vet, was found not guilty of that. We're gonna brush up on that first. Also, we're gonna talk about what else? The allegations with former CEO and rapper of Rockefeller, Jay-Z, hip hop icon, billionaire, self-made billionaire, and business mogul. And we want to talk about what happened. And the United Healthcare shooter. What's his name, fellas? Help me out here.
Luigi Mangione or something like that.
Yeah, Luigi Mangione. He murdered the CEO of United Healthcare. Let me see if I get his name right. Brian Thomas. All right, let's get with the Jordan Neely, man. I got a couple things about that I like and I dislike, right? They said he had a mental health issue. They also said that his mother was also strangled to death and put in a suitcase. He witnessed this when he was 18 years of age, and this drew him down to like a psychotic breakdown where he suffered from schizophrenia and stuff like that. I believe his aunt also lived in New York. She took care of a young Jordan Neely, and they got pictures of this, like a little docu-series that's out where she shows pictures of her raising him. And this is very important because I want to talk about this because his father, Andre Zachary, if I'm pronouncing the name right, hopefully I'm not butchering it, he pops up, in my opinion, out of nowhere, and this is why I'm going to give you my reason why I believe he popped out of nowhere, and Black Lives Matter is back at it again. I'm not too fond of Black Lives Matter, and I have a lot of reasons why I'm not, but we won't focus on them, right, too much. But getting back to Jordan Neely, his mother was also strangled to death, put in a suitcase, witnessed this at 18 years old. He had a psychotic breakdown. He was also in love with, the music of Michael Jackson, the life, and inspired by Michael Jackson, like we all were at that age, right? Mike is a great icon, RIP. So he started dancing downtown and dancing in the subway trains in New York City, right? And they said that Jordan was also on the most dangerous watch list in New York City. He was he has records of I believe over several counts of assault, right? So he's known he's known by law enforcement in New York City. Also, that he refused to take aid and help in the psych ward in New York City, right? So they say that this guy, Daniel Penny, they got to make him look like the hero, retired Marine vet. They also said that he was some type of sergeant or something in the Marines. I'm not sure. But anywho, for a little bit I know of, the Marines have 2 types of chokeholds. One is a death lock, and the other one is like to seduce the threat, right? And they said that Jordan Neely, who was mentally ill, came on a train that day and was threatening people's lives. So he was hungry. He was fed up with life. He doesn't mind going to prison. And I guess Daniel Penny took this as a threat, right? And it's crazy how he just took it as a threat. I mean, to the extent where he wanted to put physical harm on somebody. He gets behind Jordan Neely and strangles him. And I'm very interested, fellas, and I want y'all to probably break this down to me. Also, the other gentleman that was holding his hand, so he couldn't defend himself, the black guy. You notice he's not mentioned at all. If you ever look at the videos, the black guy holding Jordan Neely's hand so he can't. What's your reaction when you're getting choked? To try to remove the arm or whatever, right? So as Daniel Penny had him in a chokehold for over 6 minutes, right?
Right.
Is a black guy who's holding Jordan Neely's hand down, so he can't even defend himself.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Hmm.
you know, it was people on the train stating like, "Look, you're killing him." You know what I'm saying? Like, get up. You know, I don't think they was that much in fear if they was telling him, "Look, man, you know, enough is enough." You get what I'm saying? And examiner said that he did die from that chokehold, but you know, other reports stated that it was by something else. So yeah. So what do you guys what do you got? You know, what's y'all take on this thing? Was he wrong for choking out Jordan Neely? Did Daniel Penny felt that his life was in danger and that, you know, he had to, as a lot of far right people say that it was people of color on the train, that he's a hero because it couldn't have been a racial thing. It was more of a threat. What do you guys think about this situation?
Given I know what they say, was it over the last couple of years or so, they talking about a lot of violence going on in the New York subway. That made a lot of news. And I would not be surprised to see this type of thing. You know, I've seen situations where, like, say somebody about to lunch out on the bus or something, or they about to do something crazy. When I've been on the bus, riding the bus or on the subway, anything like that, you've seen incidents with people that say they might be on something and they jive tripping. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
seen that happen. And at the same time, and then they talking about, and I'm also seeing like the footage on in the video, you can see there's some white people around too. And when it's like that mixed type of a crowd like this, and this guy here, he deciding he gonna play the hero, which I can understand to a degree when you think about aspect of they thought that I mean, because I see some of the witnesses claim that they felt that they was in danger too. It was more than just Daniel Penny, you know what I mean? So if it was that type of collective fear going on at that moment, I see someone wanting to stand up to escalate. I mean, to de-escalate. But when it gets,
yeah,
but once it gets to this whole, I'm gonna put you in the hold. That can be dangerous when you're talking about like a street type of situation. You don't know what somebody got on them. You probably get yourself stabbed up even worse. You know what I mean? So for him to do that,
exactly.
but I guess for him to do that at that point, I can see where he's making that calculated risk that he might think of some danger. And given the way that the natural fear is already being placed for everyone to have anyway, I can understand given who he was and a lot of his programming, I can see his action at that up to that point. But when it comes to um, how long you gonna hold this, you know what I mean? I don't know how long. I don't know how long. I don't know. But see, it's like one of them type of situations, it's easy to second guess after the fact, you know. But helping out in them type of things, it's hard to tell because it's not like the we don't get to see the video before it started. You know what I mean? The only video I've seen is like after, like the after effect with him already in the hold. You know what I mean? I think that would be a lot more helpful.
So how do you feel? How do you feel about the verdict though? Like, you know, first of all, second degree murder. We know that probably carried 15 years to life. Um, he's acquitted of that.
Right.
Um, You have, people that, you have people, you had the people from white America celebrating while the people standing outside with Black Lives Matter. People of color was
Yeah.
very disheartened and they were very upset and angry.
Right.
If it was not racially motivated, we don't know. We don't know what's in the man's heart. You get what I'm saying? We don't know that. We don't. It's very little about his military background. I tried to look for it and did he had any PSD or did he had any type of racial type of background. I couldn't find anything. Sometimes the internet is good at hiding certain things.
Oh,
Uh, Quan Bizzle, what do you think about the whole situation?
To be honest, this ties into the Black Lives Matter thing that you was talking about earlier. I feel like, this been a problem since 2018, you know, ever since the Black Lives Matter movement was gaining more popularity. I just feel like when these situations of any man of color doesn't have to be a Caucasian male in Pacific, but any person of color is choking a brother out, even though he was wilding out on he was wilding out and training stuff and saying some things, right? If I seen somebody in a corner store, right, getting choked out by someone and I feel like enough is enough, of course any sensible person would do is stop that person. And I feel disgusted, utterly disgusted by the guy that was holding his hand. That wasn't even giving that man a fair chance to fight, you know what I mean? So, you know, I do hope the guy that was holding his hand is outed and he gets justice, and I hope the guy, that put him in the chokehold gets justice. You know what I mean? And I don't even want to say his full name. I don't think his name
What you
deserves
mean?
any
What you mean?
mention.
What you mean by get justice? What you mean?
Meaning,
Clarify that.
when I mean get justice, I mean be under a cell for 50 years without seeing the daylight again.
Well, they got acquitted, meaning that they didn't get. I mean, they beat the charge.
Yeah, I
They
know.
went free.
I know. Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
I'm I'm
so
hoping.
they would never they would you can't retrial no one for the same
Well,
charge.
I say if it was me personally, if I was on that train and if I had a weapon or if I had something to do with it, I'm stumping somebody out or I'm jumping in. That's just how I do it. That's how I see it. If there's a situation, I see another brother or someone that look like me getting choked out, you know what I mean? I'm gonna ask around or try to assess the situation, but I'm gonna jump in, And for all those people that just sit there and watch and not jump in, man, it just leaves me disgusted. But how I feel about him um being acquitted, I mean, there's nothing to feel about it. It's gonna be the same thing we've been feeling for years, decades, centuries. When it comes to injustice, especially in the justice system, um, these type of people, these devils, these demons, they get freed out, and is only for a couple of reasons. It could be his race, it could be his background, it could be that he's working for the government, anything. But I don't care what's his excuse. You know what I mean? That man had enough. That man couldn't defend himself. That man was out. You got another coon holding his hands from the front, and you have this man choking him back. So both of them are cowards. They're not giving this man anytime he'd even approach him, tap his back, nothing. Just put this man in a
like,
headlock.
yeah, but see, I understand the headlock. The initial headlock makes
Yeah.
if the dude was lunging, right? If the dude
Uh-huh.
lunged at the rest of them, like they say in the story, we don't get it. But let's assume his story is right at the beginning. All right, I get the initial hold, right? But when they get to the point where the black dude takes his arms fully away from him, and the other ones, and then he's just gonna keep him in this base like a sleeper. You know what I mean? And they got to make sure he's all the way out. I don't think he got to be all
Yeah,
out. That's not necessary. You already got the dude restrained. The police don't even put. They don't put somebody. They don't. The police not even supposed to do that. You know,
Uh,
they not.
yeah. I think they had passed a chokehold law in New York.
Right, yeah, for the police. So I'm saying I think that when they get to the point where they had to make sure that he was completely unconscious, I think they stepped beyond. They stepped beyond. It's one thing to restrain and make sure that he ain't.
Yeah, 6 minutes is just
That's too much.
Man, if I was that man family, I
yes,
would
6 minutes is too
saw
much.
some type of justice. It's either the system justice or is classical street justice when it comes to stuff like that. You know what I mean? Not to start no type of revolution, but people in these days they need an example made out of them. You know what I mean? People like this, they need a strong example made out of them. And personally, if I was there and I stand on that, I would have done something about it. You know what I mean? I would have jumped in.
Well,
That's me
well, let
personally.
let me play devil's advocate, right? Just say that I was on a train. Let's say that. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah,
Hmm.
hey, loud and clear.
Okay, yeah. Cause I wanted to say we've been breaking up for some odd reason. I don't know if it's the internet, or whatever. But uh, I'm playing devil's advocate, right? I look at military like I look at law enforcement, right? They're almost the same. You get what I'm saying? One is to serve and protect domestic and foreign. One is just domestic, right? But they're created for the same. Their purpose is for the. They created supposedly for the same purpose, protect, right? And serve and protect. Okay, let's say I am a person who has the skills to apprehend or de-escalate something, right? That's why it was hard for me to find out his background because if he had the proper military training, um, quote unquote, supposed to be a Marine, then he could have de-escalated that without even using a force for chokehold, or he could have just quickly knocked him out. You get what I'm saying? It
Well,
didn't have to take 6 minutes to choke someone. That's crazy. And real quick, the reason why I also did this too, because a lot of people cry, there's no self-defense law in New York. No, it is. It says reasonable belief necessary self-defense. Reasonably believe necessarily to defend themselves. It says that article, where's the article at? The self-defense article 35. I won't go into depth with it, but read up on Article 35 that is necessary self-defense. Now, you mentioned someone was launched at somebody, right, Gov?
yeah, that's what the story is. That's what some of the eyewitnesses said that he lunged it or appeared to.
Hello?
Yeah, you hear me? Yeah, I was saying it sounded like he appeared to lunge. That's what
Yeah, I can barely hear you. It's like you're chopping up real bad.
one of the witnesses said that.
They said
One of
Jordan
like
Neely
one of the eyewitnesses.
launched that.
They said it like he half lunged, appeared to lunge. That's like the quote that was used, like from one of the people that was there. You know what I mean? Ranging from like from the witnesses that was actually there before the fact, because we don't get everything on video. We just get the choke. You know what I mean?
Okay, yeah, because yeah, it's hard to make claim of it because, like I said, they said Jordan Neely did launch that Daniel Penny, right? Then
Hmm.
Article 35 works in Daniel Penny's favor.
If yeah,
Article 35 works in his favor,
right,
right?
right. But see, I wonder at what point does it not? Once you got him in this hold after all this time, and you're not defending yourself after a while, now you're the aggressor. You see what I mean? Because it's
Yeah,
not
six
like
minutes is crazy.
right. That's not like as if it was a fight. Like you know what I'm saying. You swing and you throw your punches or whatever, and then you trying to get out the situation. That's one thing. You defending yourself. But another thing when
I
you
I I, I can barely hear you, Gov. You're chopping up.
hmm,
No, I think no that
I can barely hear you, Gov. You're chopping
I
up. I don't know if it's
I
the
think it's
internet
you
or
lagging. That's
mine.
why
okay,
Huh?
it's you lagging.
You
so you
sure? Because can y'all hear
Yeah,
me?
yeah.
okay,
No, because Gov is good on my screen. I think it's your screen that's lagging. That's why.
okay. I see.
Okay. So when we go back to hear this, we can hear them in full because I can barely hear 'em.
Everything's clear.
Real
Um,
quick, fellas, what y'all
yeah.
think about what do you think about his father, Andre Zachary, popping up out of nowhere? That's my opinion. Proof on that is he only had less than 1 minute to talk about his son. He didn't say anything about his son. He said this hurts me and we miss him dearly. And my thing is, where were you? Like a lot of people say, where were you when your son was asking for food? where your son was homeless.
Yeah.
When I watched little documentary series, and Jordan Neely basically raised him. She's not on stage with Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter to me are they were known to be frauds. They fraud the black community, get whatever they want out of them. They were what was it? They were arrested. Some of the people with Black Lives Matter was arrested for forgery, buying cars and mansions and stuff. I don't think Black Lives Matter should be a part of it. That's just me personally. If you're gonna seek civil retribution, I think Black Lives Matter should be out of it. It's like they've been silent for a while, fellas, and then when somebody get choked to death or whatever, person of color, they pop back up to get that money and bounce.
That's what it's here for. They're like the modern day Reverend Al and Jesse Jackson. And then that was Black Lives Matter. That's what they into me.
Yeah. And his father looking bad out there, man. He shouldn't even speak. You wouldn't even it's clearly he wasn't even in that boy's life. Look at the last names. The last two names are different.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, we don't know every detail about the history of Jordan Neely's parents and his upbringing, but clearly, any fool with some type of common sense could tell you that this man was not very active or involved in his son's life.
Right. You can't say it
And
was
all of a sudden,
Is that a fact? Like, do you know he wasn't involved in his life, or is that just like a?
suspicion, a strong suspicion.
yeah, it's a speculation, but it's a common sense speculation because, like I said, I'm looking at the doctor on YouTube, and his aunt got pictures of him when she was raising them, dressing them up like Michael Jackson and taking him out to eat and stuff. She took care of him as a youth and was also aiding him after his mother's death. You don't hear nothing in the picture about the father. Like I said, I don't know the relationship. I wasn't there, but it just seemed like he knew very little about his son. And if he cared about his son, he would have spoke more about it. He would have had more of he would have showed more emotions at the press conference. You get what I'm saying? And it's going to be questioned like, I'm sure it's going to be questioned like, where were you when your son was going through these things?
Right.
You loved your son that dearly, then why is he starving and begging for food on the train?
True.
These are questions that need to be answered because it's going to look like you're just there for cash, that you're deadbeat, and all of a sudden you pop up as an opportunist. You're looking like an opportunist, and it's some money involved.
That's where it looks. That's what's sad. You know what the rough thing about that is, though? They don't say the same thing about the mothers either, though, a lot of times. But it's like the dude oftentimes get that type of get the accusation. And when I say that,
Yeah,
because I'm looking at the father, and you can imagine what the past was. You don't know for sure, but you know what I'm saying. But you can imagine there was that moment in life as an adult where you weren't fully responsible. You know what I mean? So, or who knows? You don't know the story between what happened with him and the mother. The mother may have kept him from him. So there's a whole lot that could have played into these type of things. So
yeah, it's a whole lot, but exactly, you hit the nail on that one, man. But it's just funny because we'll see as this story progresses. I would love to see the aunt up there because the aunt seemed like she had more of an intimate relationship with
yeah.
Jordan Neely, man. Rest in peace. Um, Hopefully there be some type of justice done. And Daniel Penny, we're not here to judge you. We weren't there. Maybe you act on impulse or whatever. Maybe he feels sad and remorse that a life was taken in this situation. So we don't know. We're not clear. We just speaking on a little bit of information that we got. So this wrap up this episode of Guess How Said. I'm your host, Adam Ill.
Because the
To
governor,
the right left of me is
because the governor.
Quan Bizzle, man.
Quan. You got to put some life into it, man. Quan Bizzle, man. Quan Bizzle.
That's because we know what's.
All right, man. The next one we got dealing with what's his name again? What's his name, man? Let's talk about Jay-Z before we talk about the CEO shooting. Let's talk about Jay-Z next. So we be up next. I guess I said is Culture is a peace.
Yeah, I just touched down. White sands, beautiful women, nice food.